There we go. 14 seconds to connect. YouTube. Why are you so slow? Okay, I'm just going to set up my screen in the background. Mute my computer. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Then I'm going to change top chat to live chat, just in case this screen is not showing me all the messages, which has been known to happen, everybody. And I'm going to set a goal. Hey, Jane Rice. My goals keep getting cut off or messed up so I'll just say all colors. Hey, Kathy X50. Or is that X50? Or is that 5 times X's and O's? I'm doing all right. We've just got a few things to catch up on the Nancy Guthrie case on day number 141. I can't believe I'm saying that. I know I say that often. I can't believe I'm saying that, but I really, seriously, I can't believe that we're talking about this. Okay, the goal is started. Let me catch up my desktop screen because that is on a computer and that shows me commercials first. Now I'm going to go to my phone screen and I'm going to go to chat filter and I'm going to say all messages so I can see you. Hey, Carson Triple C. And I really am going to try to make this short today. I did sleep in today, but I got things to do. But this is important because I will never give up on justice for Nancy. Okay, my computer screen is still not quite caught up to the screen that I'm filming on. Hey, Hobble One. That's typical Hobble One at this time of the year. Yes. I had a big Chinook that went over my building today. I hear that daily, but it was super low. Thought it was going to land on the roof. Those are huge. Those are like bigger than, like those Apache helicopters. It's kind of scary because it rumbles so loud. Everything shakes because they travel along the freeway and come right over my neighborhood. Yeah, that's why I've got the AC on and I've got the windows closed. Hey, Susan K. Another Susan. I can't believe all the Susans, Suzannes, and Sues in my chats that come in. That's awesome. Pretty sure I've seen you before, Susan K. Because we have Susan M, Susan K, Sue from Massachusetts, Susan, also Sue from upstate New York. We got Sue from Michigan. Where are you from, Susan K? Yes, but I haven't got to the comments yet. I'm just, like I said, I slept in today. I will get to my comments later on. But thank you. Not really updates because there are no updates, but I want to discuss a few things that we haven't talked about before. That is my Wi-Fi mic. You're in New Jersey. Well, I spent a lot of time in New Jersey as a child in the Medford area. Never lived there, but I sure felt like I did. 28 people in the room, 28 people in the house. Let's just give it a few moments for people to come in. Hey, Nathan, good to see you too. H8, I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome in. If you're watching on the replay, you always want to fast forward through the first couple of minutes just so we can bring people into the house. I'll do that. Thank you, Susan. I get so many requests per day, like check this out, see this, click this link, and some of them are 8 hours long. Like there's only 24 hours in a day, but I do check out as much as I can. Don't think so. Okay, thank you. In fact, I'm going to write it down. I got my little notes in front of me. And I'm going to write your name, Susan K. Yeah, it's interesting because some of the things I have to talk about today regarding Nancy Guthrie, day number 141, come from other creators. Horrible one. I said in the comment that your voice sounds exactly like Christine Kraft, who I spoke to on KGO. She was an anchor in Sacramento and Carmel. Oh, I've never heard of her. But thank you, I guess. 26 people in the house. Happy Father's Day, everybody, to you dads out there. You know what? We don't need negativity. Why do you keep coming in and being negative? 24-hour timeout, dude. There we go. I'm definitely not here for the money. This is costing me money. In fact, today I had to pay even extra for my grocery order because I didn't have time to go pick it up in person. I had to have it delivered. And there's a delivery fee plus a tip. Thank you for the gold coin. Mostly dolls, helicopters. First jewel of the day. Hey, Stacks. I got some interesting things to talk about here. Have you guys seen the thumbnail? Oh, thank you for the sparkles, Eddie. Um, yeah, this I don't know if that picture is even legit. Supposedly the guy in the picture, just so you know, that didn't come from me. I found that on a deep dive last night. That's supposedly a highlighted photo of the Kia Soul driver. Remember the white Kia Soul that entered the neighborhood around 1:30 in the morning, the night of the crime, and then exited like around 2:36 in the morning. Supposedly, that's a picture of the driver. I don't believe that to be so. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think you could highlight that in the dark from that distance at that speed with tinted windows. Uh, I haven't watched anything. I have just enough time to do my videos, take care of my animals, and eat something for one meal. Oh gosh, here we go again. We're not talking about that person today, or ever on my channel. So, yeah, this picture, it's not my photo. Mostly doll helicopters coming in with, oh, a Canadian. You are Canadian, my friend. My father, may he rest in peace, was a dual citizen of the United States and Canada. Yeah, and my close friend who passed. Everybody knows her because she's on my channel. She's Canadian as well. So thank you, Canada. Appreciate that. And I'm going to heart that on the desktop rather than on my screen that I'm recording this with because I don't want YouTube to just say, this super chat was deleted and I never see it again. Yeah, they still have never fixed that funky glitch. Hey, 65 in the room. I've got only 9 thumbs up. I hope all you guys are subscribed. Let me give you a subscriber count. I've actually lost quite a few since last night. I'm at 3450 right now. Yeah, some days you gain a lot, but then you lose a few. It seemed like I've lost a few today. 3450. That's where we're sitting at. Everybody go subscribe. I am okay, Connie. I'm alive. That's all I can hope for at this point in my life, that I'm still here and I'm with you guys. Remember, hashtag justice for Nancy. That picture that's in my thumbnail is allegedly a blown up picture of the Getaway driver. Not, well, I shouldn't say the Getaway driver, but the driver of the white Kia Soul that has never been um, excluded from the possibilities in this case. Remember, a neighbor at the back end of Catalina Foothills had a Ring doorbell camera that recorded every vehicle that came in between midnight and 6 a.m. And that vehicle came in, heading in the direction of Nancy's, and about an hour later, that little more than an hour later, actually, that vehicle came out. So that's what's on the thumbnail. You have made 0 points in the last 20 minutes. I haven't even been on the air for 20 minutes. How can you say that when I was only on the air for 9 minutes? and it takes 5 minutes just to set everything up. So, okay, that guy is from the Kia Soul, allegedly. That is not my picture. And I got it from social media. It could be fake, it could be AI, but someone is alleging that that is a blown up, highlighted photo of the Kia Soul driver. I kind of lean towards that it's not real, just because that car was going so fast and the windows were tinted and it was pitch dark in that neighborhood, even though it was a full moon that night. Um, I don't think the picture would be that clear. And I do believe, if I recall, the white Kia Soul had window tint. And it went by so fast that they're not even sure it was a white Kia Soul. They just think it was. Um, White Kia Souls are everywhere, people. That's a very common car because they're very inexpensive. Now, speaking of Kias, and I have to laugh at some of this stuff, some of these other YouTubers, the characters in this three-ring circus. Somebody sent me the link via email after I got off my live yesterday, saying that here's the link to a video where Zach, or Z-Man, was interviewed by JLR. I've already seen the one with Clutch Them Pearls, but it was kind of interesting because in the video with JLR, he pulls over and he's in a black Kia, and it was a nice one. But, if you're familiar with Zach and, his private jet travel and his time in Dubai and, you know, uh, just all the places in the Middle East and the United States that he's known to hang out, and he's a car guy, and he's, in accounting, and he's familiar with certain types of currency, and even though he says he's not, um, he's a Mercedes type of guy. He's a sports car kind of guy. You know, a lot of the Persian men that live here in Los Angeles, because we have a huge Persian community. Every single one will be driving a nice Mercedes Benz. Okay. And I thought, wow, you're back in your home country. Okay. And now I'm getting a notification from my pharmacy. So let me turn my notifications off. Okay. I thought, wow, Zach, you're in a Kia? Even though it was a really nice one, because my neighbor has one like that and it's really nice. But I was like, Zach, Z-Man, you're slumming it, dude. What's happened? You're back home. He says he's in a Mon Jordan, but he's in a friggin' Kia. And no offense to anybody who drives a Kia. I helped my neighbor go out and she bought a used one, and it's been a terrific car. I have nothing against a Kia. I wouldn't drive one, but if that was my only choice, like drive this or, take the bus, then I would drive the Kia. But a guy like Zach, with his expensive watch and his expensive habits like skydiving and taking private jets and, jetting all around the earth and um, being a businessman, but in a non-specific line of work, I found that quite comical. And we have to laugh at some of this. We can't just be going every single moment of this case, considering it's 141 days later, like, oh my God, Nancy is still missing, and this is the most terrible thing that's ever happened. And it is terrible, and it keeps me up in the middle of the night, as it did last night. I'm almost up with the sunrise, like the vampires, because I'm doing this deep, deep dive, and that's how I found this picture. Hello, Rita. Emerald Eye says she is holding her breath until DC court date. I'm trying to figure out why they moved it to Arizona and why there might be lesser charge, but I still think there's a lot brewing in the background. Quite possibly. Emerald Eyes, how many times have we talked about this? I can't get past the 6 degrees of separation. I have a problem with that as well. I got 120 people in the house. Oh my gosh. Everybody, hit that like button. 137. How can we have 137 people in and only 17 thumbs up? So be careful what you see or believe on the internet. Thank you for the 6-7, mostly Dolls Helicopters. One of my new Canadian friends here. Be careful what you read, hear, or watch on the internet. And I will repeat that that thumbnail, that is somebody else's picture, and it's supposed to be a highlighted picture of white Kia Soul guy. I can't prove that it is. I can't prove that it isn't. But it was worth putting it on my thumbnail because wonder if the picture is legit and somebody watching this right now or someone that's going through YouTube to watch me later, or they're just looking for Nancy Guthrie videos and they see that picture and somebody recognizes that guy. I am not from Memphis. This was bought from my friend John Johnson on Whatnot. I bought it to support his 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 room on Whatnot. And this is the AAA team for the St. Louis Cardinals. And my mom and my granddad, they were big Cardinals fans. So this is the shirt, and it was a collaboration between the Memphis Grizzlies, the basketball team, and the baseball, the AAA team. So that's why I have that to support my friend John. Um, let's see. So no, I am not from Memphis, but thanks for asking. Hello, Sandy Greer. Are you related to the Mobile, Alabama Greers by any chance? Just asking. Thank you. Rita sent the flower. Appreciate that. Hey, Martha Hale. She also sent a flower. I got a flower back to back. Kathy X50 sent the thumbs up. Thank you so much. No, you're not. Okay, just asking because I had a teacher down there named Cindy Greer. She was my favorite teacher in my childhood. Mostly Dolls Helicopter sent the high five. Wow, all the jewels are coming in. Thank you so much. Hello, Leanne Rayner. So that picture that I have in the thumbnail, that is supposed to be a driver of a white Kia Soul. And the white Kia Soul, as far as we know from law enforcement, they never included or excluded that vehicle. But it's just, the timing is kind of coincidental as to when it drives in, when Nancy's front doorbell gets compromised, when Nancy's heart pacemaker stops, and the distance between her house and the back end of the Catalina foothills that car shows up again. Now, based on the speed, the lighting or lack thereof, the no street lighting due to the animal migration laws, and the fact that the windows kind of look tinted, but it's hard to tell because it's just like, you know, I just, I don't have full faith that that's actually a picture of a guy. That could be some AI BS that's like, well, this is what we think it looks like. So, but still, just by small chance that that's, a real picture of a real man driving that car that could or could not be involved in this case, but there's a possibility. I want people to look at that thumbnail. I want everybody on the internet to look at that thumbnail and see if they recognize that guy. I mean, for all I know, that could be something from a movie. Oh, thumbnail looks like drone footage. Oh, this is not the thumbnail. This is my green screen. The thumbnail is the picture that you see on YouTube when you're looking for the video. That's the thumbnail. This is not a thumbnail. That's Nancy Guthrie's house. That's a green screen. So look at the thumbnail on the video. You will see, because I know most of you probably just got the notification and went, oh, if you were following me, you're subscribed to me, and you click the bell button, you got the notification. 202. Everybody, I just set a record. By the way, just to get off the track for a moment, I did add the 10th emoji last night, the custom emoji that's for my channel, for my memberships, because I did get 3 memberships yesterday. 2 were purchased and 1 was gifted by someone in the chat. And so that brought my membership high enough that YouTube gave me another emoji. Now, before I can get another one, I need like 8 more. And so that'll happen when it happens. But there is a 10th emoji. And also, we were talking about yesterday some nicknames for the members or for you guys that are subscribed or watching me. And some of the top ones that came up were, and I'll ask you guys what you like here, PI Posse, Hollywood Sleuths, The Case Squad. Now, my channel's really not true crime, though. It's just kind of everything. But PI Posse, Hollywood Sleuths, The Case Squad, Justice Seekers, The Sleuth Crew. There's a lot more, but the top picks seem to be Hollywood Sleuths or PI Posse. Thank you, Renee. She said she just subscribed. She says this is such a mysterious case. I pray closure will come soon. Me too. Now, speaking of watching other people's work and getting this picture, I did also, besides seeing the video of the Z-Man with JLR, I've heard this before, but there was some guy that comes on occasionally with JLR. I don't watch him full time. I only watch him very, very little, actually. But some guy, they refer to the guy as Georgia Bulldogs. I don't know if that's his username or that's just his nickname, but they call the guy Georgia Bulldogs. And he does have a very heavy, Georgia or deep South sounding accent. And I lived in the deep South as a child, so I recognize that accent right away. I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit of a Georgia accent, I think. And he is claiming that he is friends with someone within the FBI, and that person who is currently in the FBI is, chatting with someone else who is in the FBI that has more knowledge of this case. And now this guy could be full of BS, okay? This guy could be trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. But he claims, and this is possible because I've always thought this. I've always thought that this was a group and that there's at least two, but I'm more leaning to three at the property. He claims that there were three guys at the property per his FBI source. 239 people in the house. That is an April Davis PI record. Thank you, everybody. With that many people, there's only 32 thumbs up. I'm absolutely shocked. Wow. Let's see. Mike Hamlet says he had a tarp in his backpack. He offered or offed her and rolled her up before he left. I would have thought that if I didn't know about the blood. But based on the blood at the door, with the oxygenated blood that was aspirated from the nose or the mouth, and the fact that some of it appeared as if she had not only been popped in the face, but she went down on her knees. That's why I don't believe that she was carried out in the tarp. Now, I thought that could be a tarp in the backpack. But based on the blood evidence at the front door, um, as long as that was fresh blood and that wasn't already there, which I don't think it was, I do believe, based on photos that I've seen, that she was carried over somebody's shoulder. And the one thing that I do kind of agree with this guy who, you know, may just be some crackpot, but he may actually know someone within the FBI who's given him this information. Although that's sus as well. He says that there was three. I've always thought there was three at the house, at least, because you've got the guy that entered the house through the back door who physically removed her from her bed. 252. I'm writing this down. April Davis PI has just set a record. I've never had this many people in my chat at one time. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you are subscribed to my channel. I hope you click that bell icon. If you'd like to become a member, we're at 266. Click that membership tab. You can also click the super chat tab, and it will lead you to the membership tab, and it's $4.99. I don't have any more free members for the rest of the month to give out as far as the memberships, but I might have a few more in July to hand out. So thank you. Mostly Dolls Helicopter, thank you for the floating heart. We are talking Nancy Guthrie. Kathy, another Kathy. We have so many Kathys in here. I didn't see that. T3, thank you for the thumbs up. They pop up on the screen really quick. If I look at my chat behind me or I look at my paper, my notes, I miss it. Patty, thumbnail looks like drone footage. No, that's not. We talked about that before. That is not the thumbnail. That is the green screen. The thumbnail is actually on the video. After you guys watch, you can go see the thumbnail on the video. Look at the guy. They are saying this guy is claiming that per his FBI source, that there was 3 people. The guy that went through the back door, and I do believe somebody went in through the back door because there was no reason for the back doors to be left propped open like they were. And that the FBI does believe she was dragged from her bed. Now, Savannah has also said that. And remember, Savannah, she's an immediate family member, so she knows a lot more than we know. But that she did release that information that they believe she was dragged from her bed. And I believe that too, that she was dragged from her bed based on the evidence that they have. Although we don't know all that evidence, I do believe that. 302 people. Everybody, please subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up. And feel free to contribute to my grocery fund for the day. I spent extra so I could have it quickly delivered so I could go on the air rather than going to pick it up. Thank you for the, I haven't caught up to that, but whoever just sent the jewel, thank you. Mostly Dolls helicopters. Now, this guy says that there was 3 people. The guy that went into the back door who actually did the abduction, which is hideous. There is the getaway driver. And I still have not had anybody here send me that photo that I had seen before that was enhanced, that looked like there was a Dodge. I have not seen anything to lead me to that photo since I originally saw that. Okay, but they do believe there was a car in the driveway, and I can't see. That photo doesn't look like the Dodge photo. That just looks like there's the shape of a car that's actually in the driveway, and there's a man near the trunk. So that could be the getaway driver. The man that I think entered the back door, who I personally believe walked out the front, there are images of him carrying a person over their shoulder. We've talked about this before, the arms hanging down. 297. The record is 302, people. I can't believe this. So he is saying, and he said this to JLR, like I said, this guy could be full of BS, and he's just trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. And he was known by JR as Georgia Bulldogs. That's who, because he said, "Oh, I've called you before," and he goes, "Oh, yeah, Georgia Bulldogs." What's his real name? I don't know. Is he on social media? But they just refer to the guy as Georgia Bulldogs. And he claims he knows this FBI person personally who is talking to another FBI agent who may or may not be involved in this case, and that they believe there's 3 at the house. Now that goes to the next question. Are those 3 just working in a group, or are those 3 hired by somebody? And the FBI, at least from the beginning of this investigation, and this kind of adds up with what Ashley Banfield reported, that they believe the so-called, as I call them, the worker bees that are at the house, the yahoos, the knuckleheads, the actual abductors, that they are doing this underneath the ringleader or the ringmaster. Remember, I've made many references since this started to the movie Fargo. Somebody, a husband, hires someone to kidnap his wife. I lose the body count in that movie. Nobody's supposed to be harmed. Half of Fargo and part of Minnesota ends up being offed in that movie. It's very possible that somebody did hire some yahoos and things didn't go well. Kind of reminiscent of John Bonet. Remember that? It'll be 30 years this Christmas. 30 years, and that's still an active open investigation. And I still blame the detective on the scene, Linda Arndt, the one that had the psycho eyes that were like every time she's on the news, her eyes are like boom, 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 like they have their own pulse. Boom, boom, boom. I don't even want to I don't want to be sued by Linda Arndt, but Linda, get yourself some psychological help. She was the one who said, I thought John Ramsey was going to kill us all, and her eyes were going boom, boom, boom. Like, oh my God, don't even get me started on that. If you want to see anything about John Benet Ramsey, you can go to my video about the recent death of the housekeeper, Linda Hoffman Pugh. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But this guy who calls into JLR, apparently he's called in more than once. Hey, Ingrid. Leanne, she's like, headset. James Smythe, that is so scary. I do think that when Savannah said this, she has direct intimate knowledge from the FBI and the police that she was dragged out of her bed. I do believe this is a group. I don't believe in the lone gunman theory, although, or I should say the lone wolf theory, because there wasn't a gunman, but there was the lone wolf theory that was theorized by the FBI agent that I know who didn't know a whole lot about this case. And he said sometimes people just get lucky. I don't think that was the case. Someone had intimate knowledge. So he's got it as someone came in the back, took her out of the bed, dragged her out of the bed, but that person also says she was taken out of the back. And that does not add up with the physical evidence that's at the front door. And that front porch guy, that he was basically a lookout, I call him the utility man or the assistant. And he was kind of the dumbass in the group who, picked up the weeds and went, and they are saying that the internet may have cut out in that house and that there were security systems because we've never known. I've talked about this. We don't know what type of security she had or she didn't have within the house. We know about the roof camera. We know about the Nest Cam at the front door. We know there were cameras on the side of the house and the back of the house on the exterior. They got thumbnails. They didn't get anything. But this guy is claiming that there were security systems in the house and that somehow, through cell jammers, that the internet in that house was taken out. Remember, that's why the police and the FBI have been going around to all the neighbors like, hey, did you lose your internet? And the guy that had the dog that woke him up in the middle of the night, who lives directly behind her house, in fact, you can see it in the thumbnail, is it this house or this house? He said that his internet went off too, but just in the back of his house. And so, however, a Ring or a Nest doorbell also runs off a battery. So if they use a cell jamming type of device to take her interior cameras down, they might have been caught off guard when they realized that, oops, the front door is still recording. And that's where a mistake was made. And I do believe that the FBI has more video footage. Even Jennifer Coffendorfer, who I don't normally agree with, she says that, like, release some of this video. Let's get that face out there. That's why I put the face of the Kia Soul driver out there. But that may be nothing. Maybe somebody can do a Google image of that and go, oh, that's from a movie. That's not even true. But when I'm done here, go back and look at my thumbnail and see if you can see anything. Does anybody recognize that guy? Just in case that's a legit photo. Okay, now the same person who JLR refers to as Georgia Bulldogs plural, he claims that not only does his FBI source say that it was these three people, the backdoor guy, the front porch guy, and the getaway driver, but that they were worker bees. And I'm not going to call anybody out on my channel and say they're guilty. Remember, and you'll see this in every video, I'll say this multiple times. Everybody here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Even if somebody gets arrested in this case, they are innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. This guy is claiming, per his source, and this could all be BS, some guy trying to grab his 15 minutes of fame, calling into JLR Investigates. This could all be for clicks, for craps and giggles, people. But he claims the same information that Ashley Banfield originally reported. And she took a lot of burns for that. But she says that her federal law enforcement source told her that the only suspect and the number one suspect that they're interested in is Tommaso Cione, also known as Tommy, Tomato, whatever you want to call him. Now, the police department, and allegedly the sheriff of that police department may or may not be close friends with Tomato, they claim that he's clear. I don't think that this department, Pima County Sheriff, I don't even think they're even the lead in this department anymore. I think they screwed themselves so bad that the FBI has taken over this case. Hold on, I got to go back. Oh boy. Thank you, Renee. Who said that? Let me go. Let me keep going. And for those who are just coming in, I am a licensed PI, and I've been doing this 42 years. Now, I'm mostly disabled at the moment due to the side effects of stage 3 breast cancer. Uh, Texas Army says they probably took her to Mexico. It's possible, but it's not high on my list. Um, Carol, welcome in. She claims Tommaso took 30,000 from Nancy's account, so she was changing the will and who had access. Possible, although I've got no way to prove that. Um, yes, the John Bonet case was a disgrace, seriously. You know, Renee, that's the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you. Oh, mostly Doll's helicopter. I see it on the desktop. I don't yet see it on my screen. Sent another $2 super chat. Trust me, that's going to help me today. Grocery money. YouTube expenses. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Seems like that, doesn't it, Elusive? Um, Jeremy says Guthrie mom had information on high up in the Democratic Party and was going to reveal it. Anything is possible. How am I so high in the air? That's the green screen of Nancy Guthrie's house in the background. Quentin, welcome in, my friend. I believe possibly only one perp plus a driver because you see the same guy on camera twice and the violence occurred in the same area you see him. Possible, but I've seen some of the highlighted pictures where I do see a man and I don't think it's front porch guy where he's carrying Nancy over his shoulder. And if somebody came in yesterday, they said, it couldn't be one because you think he just put her down on the front porch where she sat in her own blood. And he said, you stay here, Nancy, while I go grab the car. Hey, valet, sir, can I have the car? No, there was somebody driving the car. Now, if anybody here, and don't spam my email, but if anybody actually has a picture that it was a woman and she highlighted a picture and it looked like a Dodge in the back, if anybody has that, please get it to me. There's a reason I need it. Now, the guy that's in the thumbnail photo, which you may not have seen if you just click directly into the notification, that guy is supposed to be the white Kia Soul driver, but I have serious doubts about that. But if I'm wrong and it is a legit picture and somebody watching this either now or later recognizes it, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI. I've heard that, Carol, and that could be possibly true, but I can't say that it is for sure. Nanos and Tommaso are both gamblers and likely in the same circles. That's what I'm hearing. I've also heard that they go boating and fishing together. I've heard that Tommaso owes gambling debts in Mexico. Is it true? I don't know. I recently heard a week or two ago that the sheriff lost $25,000 on a bet for a basketball game. And remember, he did go to a basketball game right when this case started. Like, I think your priorities are a little effed up, dude. He does seem quite old, and he definitely has enough tenure and enough years served that he could take his retirement. Maybe Sheriff Nanos does have financial problems. I've also heard on here many of my viewers, including some in Arizona, have claimed that Tommaso didn't go to a school job all year, not just since this happened, this crime, but for the entire 25-26 school year, he was off the roster of this private school that's in Tucson. It's something Oro Valley, I forget. Maybe it's some sort of a magnet school. I don't know. But he's a sixth grade science teacher. And supposedly he did a whole course on like at the local college on CSI stuff, which that's kind of creepy if that's true. Everybody give Mostly Dolls Helicopters a thumbs up on her $2 Canadian super chat. Thank you so much. It's always so cool when these chats come in. These super chats sometimes come in from different countries just to study the different currency. Um, I think she's around Sue Ellen's property. That's why she's getting everybody away from there. Yeah, I've heard about the house at the end of the cul-de-sac too. That's interesting. Which they actually describe as the house across the street. I wonder if there are a flock of cameras in that area. Probably, but the houses sit so far apart and it's so dark in that neighborhood with the lack of street lighting that those cameras didn't really help. But this source is saying that she did have she did have cameras inside that house and that they were somehow disabled, and that the only one that didn't get disabled was the Nest door cam. And I've always said, when we've talked about someone had intimate knowledge, someone had intimate knowledge of the inside of the place and the outside of the place. And that's why I think the three yahoos or however many there were that came to do the job, they were being instructed by someone who had intimate knowledge of the house. And you can include this into the Savannah factor, because even if it is somebody close to her who's in charge of all this and then something went wrong, just like with JonBenet Ramsey, I truly believe that was intended as a kidnapping, but something went wrong and she died and they left the body behind and they fled. Yeah. And then all the characters through the 6 degrees of separation kind of fit in together. It's very similar to this case, except Nancy was still living based on her rapid heart rate when her pacemaker synced. And literally, 6 to 8 minutes later, there was that car zooming out of the back end of that neighborhood. Now, coincidence? I don't know. As a PI of 42 years, I have a hard time believing in coincidences. Um, but this guy, and this was like, I think this was back in March. This guy came on to JLR saying that, there's three people involved at the scene. He thinks they were, according to his sources, they were hired by Tommaso. That's why they've had the car for so long. Remember, they had the car for 41 days. And supposedly when they towed it, they actually took it to Virginia. That's what I'm hearing. And if that's the case, that's some serious, serious stuff. But I'm not naming him a suspect at all because I don't know who did this. I still believe that the person that I've talked to the FBI about, as far as the phone calls and the letter that I sent, I still believe that that person is involved somehow. Um, but I do think a bunch of local yahoos are involved in this, whoever they're working for. I just don't believe that it was some, criminal gang that came from, South America and they just happened to pick Nancy's house. Like, or they were really after the gym guy next door because it was, gym show week and he had a lot of expensive inventory in his house and they hit the wrong house. Like, no, this wasn't a robbery or burglary, a home invasion, the wrong house. This was a targeted case against someone who is the 83-year-old helpless mother of a rich celebrity. Thank you for the 100, mostly dolls helicopters. Um, okay, she had information from her husband on crooked dealings in the Democratic Party. Whose husband? Nancy's husband's he's been dead since 1988. You mean Savannah had information from her husband? Who do you mean? Texas. Thank you for the 100. Martin Reed. Steve Bannon lives in Oro Valley. He's an operative for DT. Hmm. Who's DT? Do you mean DE or DC? I see DT. Who's DT? Steve Bannon lives in Oro Valley. He's an operative for DT. Oh, now I get it. Okay. Da-da! Light bulb on. Okay. Yeah, we try not to talk about him here. Connie says, I find it interesting that DeJuice. Oh, there's another GG, mostly Dell's helicopters. Thank you. I find it interesting that DeJuice, 857 Tucson, and Alex have their court hearing on July 2nd, and so does Derek Kalela. So those three YouTubers won't be able to cover it. I wonder if that was planned. I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard that. Uh, Push Ridge, Oro Valley. Is that the name of the school? Carol says the police or FBI investigators got some pictures from inside the house. Um, did they have to carry her around the back to the car? We don't know. Um, thank you for answering that, but we don't talk about him here. Um, no politics, no religion, but I understand how you're referencing him that to the case. In fact, see my suspect video. he might just pop up. It's on my just you can always click my picture icon, and that'll bring you to the main YouTube, my channel page, and you can see my videos, my shorts, my lives, my playlist. You can see my video or my channel description. You can see my links. Everything is there. But I had to go, DT, who's that? Carol Harris. It was because of Nancy's work tracking down fraud in the pharmaceutical companies, and she had evidence on a hard drive that was taken from her home office desk drawer. Haven't heard that one before. Kimberly says yes to school. Jeremy, Benet brother accidentally killed his sister trying to stop her telling. Then father moved body to storage, called police, got frustrated when they did not find her, went down and carried her upstairs. No, don't think so. But we're not going to talk about that here. But if you're interested, Jeremy, in the John Benet Ramsey case, which people here have been begging me to make videos on, I do have a video that's very recent, and it's a live. It's under my live tab, and it's about the death of Linda Hoffman Pugh. You can also find that in the Rest in Peace playlist or the True Crime playlist. Why prop open the back door? I've asked that from the very start, Carol. I have asked that from the start. Um, I hadn't heard that either. Cheryl Busman says, I haven't heard those three will be in court at the same day. Yeah, I know that the Juice, he had his court appearance on the 16th, but I do think it was pushed back because I looked it up and we've talked about it before, but now I don't remember what day. Martin or Martine says, Jeremy, that is ridiculous. Yeah, you guys, everybody, we're talking. This is what we're talking about. Nancy Guthrie, day number 141. Everything is on the table here, except for I don't believe she was abducted by aliens, but everything else is on the table. Uh, oh my gosh. Uh, uh, we have to laugh sometimes. And I may not be a big JLR Investigates fan, but I do say that some of the humor in the case has come from that channel. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, but I'm more of a serious type of, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And I haven't have any of my channel members come in today. I'm seeing a lot of new names, which is great. I hope you guys are subscribing. It'd be a shame if you guys are all coming in and you're not subscribed. Yeah, I've gone up to 3462. Hey, thank you, Suzanne, for the gosh, I'm so far behind on the star. Thank you for the star. Let me get back to my screen on the desktop so I don't miss things and catch up. Um, let's see. Who is Nancy Guthrie? She is the 84-year-old mom of Savannah Guthrie, who is the Today Show host. Hey, Suzanne 8264. That is so sus. What is so sus, Renee Brown? Um, she had information from her husband. Like I said, Nancy's husband's been dead since 1988. Have you ever explored any abandoned buildings? No, I haven't. Um, Nanos has been misdirecting the case all along. I would agree with you, Carol. Um, Steve Bannon. Oh, okay. Steve Bannon lives in Oro Valley. He's an operative for DT. That's interesting. See my suspect video. Remember, DT was the first person to call Savannah, supposedly, reportedly, allegedly, speculatively, saying, we're going to do anything we can for you. Just tell us what you need. Well, I haven't seen anything happen. I thought that was very, very suspect. Thank you for the star. Connie, I find it interesting that the Jews, okay, we talked about that. What have I missed? Did they carry her around the back to the car? That's what this person is saying that called into JLR, who's known as Georgia Bulldogs, but I don't believe that. And we already saw that about Trump. And Benet brother accidentally. Nope. That is ridiculous. That doesn't add with the physical evidence. Um, Do I think she's alive? Sadly, no. I think she went very quickly. And then they couldn't show proof of life, and everything was botched. You can actually almost see it in the body language of certain people involved in this case that something went terribly askew. We don't talk about Cheryl. We don't take people out of my active chat to go to other chats, so I'm gonna have to take you off for that, just for 24 hours. Okay. Yeah, don't come into my channel on the day that I'm getting the most people and say, "Hey, everybody, get the F out of here and go see this other person." No, that's unacceptable. You do that one more time and you will be permanently blocked. And I'm for all these other YouTubers, but don't do that in the middle of my show. You will be blocked. Carol Harris, she might be in witness protection. I don't believe that. That has been proposed in the past, but I don't believe that. I hope so. She has her medication and isn't suffering. I would love for that to be true, Carol, but sadly, that's not the case. Happy belated Generation X holiday was June 16th. I guess we forgot. Um, Renee says, heck, everything is sus at this point. Yes, it is. This is a very odd case. Mrs. Reading Books. Nope, she's not still alive in my humble opinion. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just, based on my career as a detective, I don't think she's still with the living. I've never heard of a Generation X holiday. Okay, Jeremy says Big Pharma makes the largest election funding donations of any lobby group. Probably that's why I don't, didn't get an immediate cure for my breast cancer. And now I'm suffering from the treatment, mostly to Democrats. And she had the evidence on that hard drive. Interesting. Uh, yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion, though. Hello, Stephen. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the gift. Mostly does helicopters. Hey, Kathy Doherty. Hey, there's a member. I've been looking for a member all day. Kathy, if you don't mind, can you put up all of the membership custom emojis? Because I was able to add a 10th one last night to my customized emojis because we had 3 new members came in yesterday afternoon. Um, okay, Vicky says, for some reason I believe the sister and her husband had something to do with her mother's killing. That's possible. You always look at 2 things, revenge and money, and in this case, because she's the mother of a celebrity, the Savannah factor, and then you look at there's a 75 to 92% chance that somebody close to her is involved in this, as even if she wasn't famous. You always look at that, and it could be a combination of the 2. It could be somebody close to her who added the Savannah factor into the equation, thinking they could get a quick payment. Um, but Savannah didn't bite at that. And I wouldn't have either without proof of life. Uh, but remember, everybody on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. Mostly Bell's helicopter. Did I thank you for the marshmallow? Thank you. Quentin, I don't think it was possible on the media used for the kidnappers to show proof of life. Or stuff as that. Okay. Don't know what you're saying. Kathy, thank you. Yeah, some of those are not mine, but thanks for putting those up there. The detective, the cat, the camera, the baseball, the USA emoji, the bunny, the happy emoji, the YouTube, the palm tree, and the pumpkin. Those are mine. Then those other ones are just like regular YouTube ones, but thank you. Was the brother-in-law the last one to see her? So they say, Kelsers. Thank you for coming in. Where are you coming in from, Kels? Boy, that got me for a moment because that kind of threw me because of the great Kelsa Kinsley, Kansas. Yeah, you must be new here. Thank you, Kelser. I have a hard time saying Kels because it'll get me really emotional here. Um, wow, small world. Um, that's what they're saying, that the brother-in-law was the last to see her. You are new. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. I hope you're subscribed and I hope you click the bell icon I hope you click the thumbs up. I had like the most I've ever had today at one time, 302 people in the room. That's crazy. And I'm up to 3462. Wouldn't it be great? Now I'm at 3464. Wouldn't it be great if I could get this up to 3500? Oh, you're welcome, Kels. I have to say Kelser. Kels is the nickname for the great Kelsa Kinsley, who was my friend that passed. I know you haven't watched this channel before, but there's a video on that. So that's when I saw that name. It just kind of like, whoo, kind of threw me. And the cat is actually Kelsa too, the calico kitty that's in the little emoji up there. Oh boy, that's a bad one. Don't come back. Uh, yeah, go see the video. It's worth a watch. It's under the Rest in Peace uh, playlist. And for those that come into the lives and they're like, how do I see your other videos? Just click the picture. Apparently, you guys are watching me. You can click my picture. It'll take you to my main channel page, and you can see the video tab, the shorts tab, the playlist tab, the live tab. You can see the description of my channel. You can click that. It'll take you to the mailing address. It'll take you to all the links because some people prefer to donate um, off chat, which I understand. It's all there. Jeremy Taylor, Big Pharma made huge cash from hobo heroin and had strippers going to the doctors to get them to write more prescriptions. There was a lot of crap going on. Okay, we can't really talk about drugs on this channel. Drugs and gambling are not allowed, according to YouTube. Brian, welcome in. Do they still have Nancy's car? As far as I know, they do not. I don't believe so. Quentin Broom, April, can you read my last comment again, please? It means the website of Ransom Note wouldn't allow film or sound bites, most likely. So impossible. I must have missed that, Quentin. I'm sorry. I believe they're keeping a lot of information close to the vest. Absolutely, Suzanne. And Nanos is an idiot for ever talking about this case, especially when he constantly contradicts himself. And then he's like, everybody's a suspect. And then these people aren't suspects. And the poor family. Like, yeah, the poor family because their mother is missing and she's never coming back. I agree with that, Kathy. And that's very sad in my case because of my stage 3 cancer that so far I have survived. She says, I believe big pharmaceutical runs a lot. That's true. It's a billion-dollar industry. Thank you for still caring. Absolutely. I don't even know Savannah or Nancy, but I feel so vested in this. And last night I'm up until the middle of the night again, and I'm like, how come I'm so vested in this? It's driving me crazy. It's like, does anybody else here feel that way? That they're so vested in this and that this is all they think about? Kelser says, yes, Nanos is an idiot. It's sure looking that way, isn't it? Kathy says she's gone. Yeah, I think you're correct, Kathy. I agree with you. Um, I wish I was wrong. Like I said, I don't think it's like, the movie 9 to 5 when the 3 office girls kidnap the boss and he's sitting, in a bedroom. Oh, I've always said here in a basement, you know, chained up, watching Days of Our Lives, eating TV dinners every night. Like, no. Um, she was in acute distress and bleeding when she was taken out of her house, when she was dragged from her bed in the middle of the night. And I think based on things I'm hearing about her health and her heart, I would guarantee you she's on a blood thinner. And I'm on a blood thinner. And if I just took this little teeny pin and poked myself with it, I might bleed to death before I got off the air. It would be that bad. I'd have to go to the hospital and they'd have to put silver nitrate in it or stitch it up. Like, she was bleeding. And the human body doesn't hold a whole lot of blood. And then with her heart pumping so fast like that they picked up on that monitor, supposedly, when they looked at her equipment and they saw that right before the pacemaker unsynced, that she had rapid heart rate, that would make the blood pump even harder. Am I making money off this? No, actually, I'm in the hole financially on this, but thank you, Quentin Broom. He just added. Let me go over to the other screen here because I don't want to touch it on the phone and then it disappears like it did earlier this week. Quentin Broom, thank you for the $2. Everybody give Quentin Broom a like on the super chat. April's the best PI of the stars. Well, I am good at what I do. I do admit that. I'm not tooting my own horn. I suck at YouTube, but my PI career, am considered in my state as one of the best. But um, everything else, I'm not so great at. But I do appreciate all the people that come in to watch this and follow this Nancy Guthrie case. Talking about this every day makes me nervous. Me too, especially late at night, Kathy. I'm like, is the door locked? Did I lock the window? Like, is there anybody walking around? I'm looking at my ring camera. I'm looking at my footage in the middle of the night, and then I saw a guy with a backpack walk through right when this started. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? There's a guy outside my door with a backpack, but it was a new neighbor that's upstairs and over one. And I was like, oh my God, who is that? Thank you for I got to go back to the main screen. Somebody just sent the jewel. The floating hearts. Respect importance. Welcome in, my friend. James says LOL. Kimberly says me too. Kimberly says warfarin. I don't know what she was on. Riders on the Storm. Brian Hoare, do you think she was alive when they took her? Absolutely, because of the blood evidence. Now, I didn't think that right away. I thought maybe perhaps she was killed inside the home, but then I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense because why would they take a body with them? Unless, they killed her by accident in the home and then they had to take her to try to set up that she was kidnapped. But no, because of the blood evidence and the oxygenated blood droplets, she was definitely alive when she was taken out that front door, and she was alive when the pacemaker unsynced from her devices. Absolutely positive. And thank you again, Respect for the Floating Heart. Renee, you're doing great. I just happened across your channel and was instantly interested. I did not even realize you were a PI. Yes, I really am. I am April Davis, PI. My company's name was, well, it still is. It's still open, but I'm mostly retired. April Davis Investigations. I started February 24th, 1984 in the city of Beverly Hills, actually, on a celebrity gig that was huge. And I did a good job, even though I had no idea what I was doing. And I got hired. And 8 years later, on August 6, 1992, I got my license. The last quarter of 1995, I started my own business, but it didn't really get going until around 98, 99. And then I just never looked back. And then 35 years full time, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And after I survived that, but before my hideous side effects started, I started a YouTube channel just for the purpose of documenting my life. It was never meant to be a niche channel or a true crime channel. But I will always report on this case until this is not only solved, but people are arrested, sentenced, convicted, and put away. Jeremy Taylor, Epstein brought Zorro Ranch from Democratic Speaker of House King, and this is all linked up. Don't know. How was the blood so dark? It had dried, Quentin. I kind of doubt it. Kelser's asked me, do you think the cartels had anything to do with this? I really doubt it. Anything is possible. Everything is on the table, but I doubt it. Oh, and Respect, since you just came in, I did announce earlier that I did put up the 10th custom emoji last night. So if you check your emojis, since you are a paid member, you'll be able to use all 10 of them now instead of 9. And a couple nights before that, it was only 4. But I threw out some free ones, and then somebody else threw out some free ones and joined, and mostly Dolls Helicopters sent a clocket. Thank you so much. Yeah, the pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern. I know it's a little early, but I have to have another, they said another 8 members, like paid members, before I can have another emoji. So that could be, next week or 6 months from now. So I better get that pumpkin one up in there now. Could she possibly still be alive? Anything is possible, but it's highly doubtful. 99.99999% that she is not. Oh, thanks for putting up the bunny, the detective, and little Kelsa kitty, who was named after the lovely Kelsa Kinsley. I know that Kelsers from Kansas, she's new here, so I kind of had to explain that because when I saw that name and instead of calling you Kelsers and I accidentally said Kels, it just almost threw me out of my chair. And I've only cried on the air once about that, so I don't want to do that again. Lucinda, so tragic. Welcome in, Lucinda. I haven't seen you before. Where are you coming in from, my dear? 149 people in the house and only 68 thumbs up. Where are my thumbs ups, people? Where are my thumbs up? And let me go. I'm seeing a lot of new people today. And for all you dads, happy Father's Day. I'm up to 3467. I'm on my way to 4 grand. Or 4 grand. 4K. I wish 4 grand. Can we get it at least to 3,500 today? You're very positive, Respect, and I appreciate that. Respect says, I pray she is still alive and brought home safely. I hope she's brought home too, even if the worst has happened. Now, from a soul standpoint, I think she's already come home. Mostly Dulles helicopters, thank you. Will Byers, haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Welcome back. Kathy Doherty using the detective emoji. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to go get my hair cut, but typically my hair is more like what you see in the emoji. It just took a long time for my hair to grow back, and then I've had so much illness the last 3 years with the heart ailment that I finally went and got like a foot and a half of hair cut off, and then that actually helped my hair grow, and now I know I need to go get it cut again, even though that was just a few months ago. Thank you for doing a thumbs up, Renee Brown. Yeah, everybody give me a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed. That'll help boost my channel to the algorithm. Everything helps. People coming into the chat, people participating in the chat, people subscribing, people giving a thumbs up to each video, going back and watching the replays. Now, on the replays, you can't see the chat until YouTube reprocesses the chat, and it can take up to 24 to 48 hours, but it's usually there. Like, it'll probably be up by tomorrow morning, but you can still see the video, but you won't be able to you won't be able to see the chat or click the super thanks button until that processes. But you can always go to the playlist and watch the other videos, or just go to the video tab. See my suspect video. It's quite interesting. Told your sister Denise to join in. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. See, if everybody brought in a friend or a family member, we could double my subscribers like that. And then YouTube would see that and they'd go, wow, she's doing really good. And people are watching this and people are liking this. And, I'm so small still that I still don't have any channel sponsors. I've never had a sponsor. Thank you for the makeup brush, Mostly Dolls Mostly Dolls Helicopters. That's a mouthful. Thank you for the makeup brush. I am not big enough yet that I can have a sponsor. But if anybody knows of anybody and they have a legit product for me to sponsor, I'd be glad to do a sponsor video. But they go, oh, this lady, she's been on for 5 years and she's only got this. Like, she must suck, So I got to get the numbers up, everybody. And I'm never going to get rich off of this. It would take me, if I get a check every month now for the next 12 months, I still won't make back the money that I've spent over the last 5 years. So when people come in and say, no, I'm just doing this for money, no, because if I was doing it for money, I'd be a much bigger channel. I'd have clickbait titles. I'd have clickbait thumbnails. I'd be, writing scripts and making a show for you because it would all be for show. No, this is just the facts, ma'am. This is as real as it's going to get. I wonder why they keep going back to the sister and son-in-law's house. Interesting, isn't it, Kelsers? I understand innocent until proven guilty, but that's so strange. Yeah, it is strange to have a car for 41 days, isn't it? It is strange to spend more time at a house doing CSI workups than you do at the actual scene of the crime. Think about that. This house, remember, Nanos, he contradicts himself constantly. He said 20 hours, 30 hours, but within the first 20 to 30 hours, like a day, that was 4 days before the FBI was even allowed to come in. The crime scene was released, and that whole yard was trampled because this is the victim of a famous person. And every YouTuber, news media, neighbor, everybody went to that house. The pizza man, the Amazon guy, the U.S. Postal Service, the news media, even Brian Enton walked right up there. And that's very important physical evidence that leads from the front door to the front porch to those little steps right there that you see right there and the driveway. And that was all ruined. Who cares? Well, we all care, Ryan. We've had thousands of people come in that care. So we're going to take you out. You go watch somebody else. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I care too. I care a lot about this. And I'm still, I'm not out of the woods yet with my health. You know how many appointments I have and stuff I got to straighten out? I still haven't got the change in the dosage from the doctor yet because they called me Friday afternoon when I was on the air and I couldn't answer the phone. And now it's going to have to carry over to Monday and they're going to say, "Oh, well the doctor's in surgery." And, you know, then I have to call and chase down how come I don't have my single boob mammogram order that they've been promising me since February. Like I got to deal with all this Monday morning. I forgot to take my bone pill this weekend, which is okay because it makes me really sick, makes me feel like I've had a chemo, but I got to do that tomorrow. And still somehow manage to pull it together to come on the air by Monday afternoon. After I deal with the pharmacy BS and the mammogram BS and try to get the correct order from the urologist for my kidneys instead of the x-rays that are too far from my house and they won't show anything. I really need the ultrasound. I have so much on my plate every day. And the people are like, "Hey, can you watch this video? Can you see this 8-hour video?" Like, I'm doing the best I can, everybody. But I am very vested in this. Uh, Brian says, "Is that true that Annie Tommaso are in Italy?" We talked about that the other day. I've just heard about that. And I've also heard that they're in a local hotel. But I've also heard that, because remember, I did propose the idea that wonder if the Italy story is actually true. And they've run. Because where are they? I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe for the security of themselves and their child, that's why they're hiding out. But if they're hiding out somewhere, don't they have to order food? Don't they have to drive? Nobody's seen them. It's very possible that they've gone to Italy. They may not have. Where are they? Who's paying the bills? Was he really not teaching for the whole school year? Remember, they owned their house less than a year before this happened. I don't think that Annie makes a lot of money as a poet and as an alleged Wiccan. I just don't think there's an income for that. Unless you're writing songs for Taylor Swift or something, I just don't think there's money in being a poet. I don't watch detective shows, Jeremy. Uh, don't neglect your health. Nope. Been fighting for my life for years. That's why I'm still here to be able to talk to you today because I haven't given up the fight yet. Kimberly, elections have consequences. We knew Nanos was evil, but sure is funny how all the freaks win. Scammers, hackers, whackers, wackos. Tucson been destroyed for decades. Nanos was not voted in. That's what I'm hearing. But people would say the same thing about the current administration. That may not have been he may not have been voted in either. and Harris may have really won the election. I, I don't know if I believe that or not, but I don't trust anybody. Good evening from New Hampshire. Welcome in, Jason Smith. My parents, before I was born, they had two foster kids, and one of them lives in New Hampshire. We've talked about that before here. I haven't been there since I was in the 6th grade, and apparently that guy, he has a son that lives kind of down the street in San Diego from me. Like, wow, who knew? But yeah, one of my mods is from New Hampshire. He doesn't live there now, but he's in Alaska, but he's busy. It's summertime in Alaska, so they got a lot of stuff to do. But welcome in from New Hampshire. Yeah, we actually brought up the map of New Hampshire in one of my lives about trying to figure out the town. I think it was Hillsborough or something. Uh, and for any of my regulars that are in here, and we talked about the nicknames for my followers, and we don't want to do April's Army because that sounds too much like JLR, and I don't want to be, compared to a convicted felon being a crime fighter. But I really like the PI Posse and I like Hollywood Sleuths. Does anybody have a preference? My party is other just saying. Everybody here is welcome. Kelsers, at the same time, if the news video was real, the brother-in-law and daughter would have known about the doorbell camera. Yes, the person on the video didn't look like they knew about the camera. Well, I think the person on the doorbell cam, front porch guy, I think he thought when the rest of the internet was disabled in the house that camera was going to um, disengage as well, and it didn't. So I think they knew about it, but they didn't think it was running. And then they realized that it was, and they were like, uh-oh, we need to go fix that. PI port. Either sounds good. Um, she was on blood thinners. That's what I've heard, so that can explain the blood on the porch. Yeah, but she didn't just, combust and blood squirted out of her body. No, I think she was punched in the face because I think she didn't want to go out that door. What about the post office? Yeah, there was definitely oxygenated blood, and that's why this person who is known as Georgia Bulldogs, who claimed his FBI sources told him that she was taken out the back. I really don't think that somebody put a body like that over their shoulders and took her all the way around the back to the side to the front. That's a big house, carried her all the way to the car. And then how does that explain the blood at the front door? And they're like, oh, well, it was there before. No, it wasn't. Because if it had been, front porch guy would have stepped in it. Um, I think they came in the back. She was taken out the front. There's a guy I see in pictures now with somebody draped over their shoulder with the arms hanging down. That's Nancy. That's so sad. And then there's at least one car, possibly two, involved in this. I still need someone to send me that picture of that Dodge. Jeremy, when they send out tons of mail in ballots, cheating is just too easy and a dozen other dirty tricks. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying regarding the post office, Kathy. Oh boy, we got to take somebody out. Goodbye. And I'm surprised I've only had to take a few people out today, considering how many people have come in. It's the joys of monetization, folks. What can I say? And I don't block anybody. I just, I block. I put you in timeout for 24 hours. Oh boy, is that still working? Oh no, the button's not working anymore. Let me restart the button. It's flashing at me. I'm just gonna set it for 30 minutes and that's it. There we go. Okay, 30-minute goal. Uh, hey, Texas Diane, welcome in. Kimberly says thumbs up. Yeah, you guys hit the thumbs up button. Thanks for reminding everybody, Kimberly. God, we had like 302 people in here earlier at one time. That's crazy. No, she has not, as far as I know. NC Patriot. Do you know if Nancy has been declared deceased legally? I highly doubt that. Now, will that come at some point? I think so. But hopefully that's far out. Because I know Cameron and Savannah have plenty of funds to survive. And I don't want to see somebody inherit things when, according to sources, and I don't mean this Yahoo that came in to talk to JLR, but credible sources that Ashley Banfield had or has, and she still sticks to her story, that the family was suspected from day one. And I'm not saying I suspect them, but I'm telling you what Ashley Banfield made public. And she has millions of followers, that they were on the top suspect list. Now, are they still? Who knows? But if they are involved, I don't want to see them getting a friggin' penny. Not now, not ever, if they're involved. And if he's involved, if Tomato's involved, then I guarantee Annie's involved too. Or at least she knows about it, which makes her an accomplice. But I'm not naming them. I don't think they were any of the people that came to the house that night. Funeral, the family? Are they even talking about a national memorial? There can't be a funeral or a memorial. They don't know where she is. In most states, yeah. But I've had cases, we've talked about this before, where people have been declared dead in a matter of months, as were the missing people, the congressman and Cokie Roberts' father, who disappeared on that plane in Alaska back in, it was October 71 or 72. Oh, thank you. Mostly Dolls Helicopter sent another jewel. You're basically sending most of them today. Sorry, I meant ransom letters. In regards to what? Oh, okay, I missed that. What do you think of the ransom letters? Do you think they are real or fake? Well, that's up for debate. That's a very good question, because you have the original ransoms, too, that went to TMZ and the local news agencies. Then you have the text ransoms, which suspiciously went to the private cell phone numbers of Tommaso and Annie. And someone even called them and said, "Hey, what about my Bitcoin? I'm ready to complete the transaction." As if they might have already known each other. Then you have the third set of ransoms that started coming in to TMZ, where we call the guy, well, he asked for 50,000, then he asked for one Bitcoin, then he said, "I'll take a half now and the other half later." That's a third set of ransoms. So with the first set, then the text ransoms, and then the subsequent smaller Bitcoin ransoms, because now they can't prove proof of life and they can't demand the 4 million, then the 6 million. They could be red herrings, they could all be fake, some of them could be real. We don't know that yet. But there are some interesting things in some of those ransoms that are similar to statements that certain suspects have since made as far as timelines, which make me think, maybe they could be real. And Savannah said they thought the first two, well, the FBI thought the first two were real. Personally not impressed with Banfield, but not declaring anything. Keep options open. Exactly. Exactly. But I will stick to what I've said from day one. When I first heard about this, remember, when it was first talked about, it was not reported as an abduction or a kidnapping. It was reported as a missing person of an 84-year-old woman. And when I heard who that 84-year-old woman is and who her daughter is, I, being a celebrity Hollywood PI, I'm not a celebrity, but I'm a PI, a Hollywood PI that has worked and does work for celebrities. And I heard this, I was like, oh my God, the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie was kidnapped. And that was before any ransoms showed up. And I'm not saying that it's some sophisticated group like the drug cartel or these guys from Brazil that are burglarizing houses. No, this was very planned, targeted towards this woman. I've met people that live in this neighborhood since I started this case. And there's no way that some random Yahoo strangers came in and targeted this house, not having intimate knowledge of the systems outside the house and inside the house. And we've never been able to prove that she did or didn't have systems inside the house or that the internet wasn't turned off. But remember, those Ring doorbells and Nest doorbells, they also operate off batteries. So just because the internet signal might not have worked, that would have recorded a video had she had a subscription, the doorbell itself would still be working, running off the battery. And I think that's where they realized, like, oops, they saw like a light and they were like, oops, uh-oh, we better go take that off. And I think that the FBI has a lot more video footage than they're releasing. And I do think that they may have had a suspect in mind from day one. Kimberly, Hobbs won't take Uber out of her political ad. Uber never existed. I don't know what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie, Kimberly. Human nature. Savannah said her brother immediately said her mother was likely kidnapped because of who Savannah was. Exactly. I said the same thing. And people are like, oh, he must know something. No, because he has a brain. That's totally true, human. I think there's more video footage that the FBI has not shown the public. Exactly. Even the FBI agent I consulted with said that. That was the first thing he said. They have more video. And he's not working this case. Uh, my blood pressure's rising, people. Human nature says Savannah said her mother was begging and pleading. How would she know that part unless there's more footage she's aware of? Good point. Okay, Kathy, thanks for coming in and thanks for showing the group here the emojis. I appreciate that. Any other members that are still in here? Feel free to throw up the custom emojis, including the new one, if you're still in. Let's see, Kathy Doherty, she's leaving the chat right now. Respect importance. If you're still here, you can put them up. Most of my members are not here today. Nolene Hayward, hello. Where are you coming in from? This case just burns me sometimes. NC Patriot, botched investigation over law enforcement territoriality. Yes, sir. It's not rocket science here, but yeah. Hey, Spirit. Fist pumps. See, got it on my Rally Roots hat. And I do need some more hats, people. We talked about this yesterday. I need a new Dodgers cap. Jason, are those suspects that are masked figures similar to the bad guys out of the movie called The Three Ninjas? I won't even answer that. The sheriff spelling the FBI indicates political interference. We don't know why the sheriff has done what he's done. Human nature says she believes, or he or she believes, she died the night she was taken, likely from a heart attack. Very possible. That wasn't what the kidnappers expected to occur. Exactly. That's why they could never produce proof of life. Very, very possible scenario. Very possible. And the ringleader, or ringleaders, plural, did not anticipate this. People are dumb. Criminals are stupid. And just like the movie Fargo, when you hire someone to do the dirty work for you, things can go wrong. The ringleader, the ringmaster of the JonBenet kidnapping, also hired the wrong worker bees. And things went wrong and she died. Arizona dirty politics seem to be extra active here. I don't know. I'm certainly not liking the town of Tucson from what I'm hearing, but it looks beautiful. That house, that property is just gorgeous. The mountains and the desert setting, it's gorgeous there, but boy, it sure seems like it's a messed up place. And my apologies to all my audience that could be watching from there. You know, hopefully at the very least, one of the good things that could come out of this case is that Nanos will be removed from office. I hope. Just retire, man. Because I don't even think the sheriff's department is actively working this case. I think the FBI has the lead on this now. The last person to see the victim face to face is always the lead suspect. Yes, but then if they're not involved, then they should be quickly eliminated. They shouldn't have their wife's car taken for 41 days, and the FBI shouldn't be coming back to their house week after week after week. It's very hard to provide proof of life encrypted. Most people don't realize. The Ole Pueblo. What is the Ole Pueblo or Pueblo? Tucson? It looks gorgeous to me, but I'm just not liking all the high crime that's around there. But there's crime everywhere. Kelser says, I would never let my 84-year-old mother to live out there where it needs to be dark by a certain time by herself. I think it was probably Nancy. She's a strong woman after everything she's been through. She probably just didn't want to leave. Yes, Tucson. Yeah. I mean, look at that house. That's gorgeous. Who wouldn't want a house like that with that setting and the wildlife coming through your yard at night? I'd love something like that. And I would hire someone to come out and set up cameras for me so that I could broadcast at night, even if I had a separate YouTube channel and I could catch all the wildlife. There's tons of wildlife right here, but I'm in an apartment building. I can't just put my camera outside and, go to bed and leave it. Kimberly says it's bad. What, Tucson? Did Tommaso wait to see that she got in safely before pulling off? It doesn't sound like it. Beautiful, absolutely come visit. Let's do a news thing. Um, it looks gorgeous. If I were younger, and I wouldn't come as a PI, but if I were younger and I had this YouTube channel then, instead of just the last 5 years, I would love to like come out there and be boots on the ground and see Tucson. Oh, Jeremy says it's not a high crime area. Okay. You know what? That's a very good question, Jason. Do the forest rangers and the fish and game wardens have any part in the search for Nancy? I don't think so because I don't think anybody's looking for her. Since day number 2, nobody's looking for Nancy. And if she is deceased, the body is the number one piece of evidence in this crime. Seems like the politics are bad there, unfortunately. Well, you know what? We have one of the worst mayors in history right now in LA. So things happen in all cities. Cajun Navy tried. Yeah, they've applied twice and have been told they've been turned away. I don't know what that means. Nancy folded. Human nature. Was it normal to have kept 84-year-old Nancy out to 10 p.m. knowing she had to go to church in the a.m.? I don't know. I heard that she routinely went over to their house, for dinner. So I don't know. You're new, Danielle. Welcome in. I hope you're subscribed. Where you coming in from, Danielle? No, they did not. Kelsers asked. Very good question. Did they ever send in cadaver dogs? No. But the second night, they did bring in, through the help of the Border Patrol, they brought in scent dogs. They weren't specifically cadaver dogs, but they were given some clothing of Nancy to try to hit on her scent. And it didn't go any further than the driveway. There are lots of groups of 6 looking, just good people. What was the dinner like? I don't know. I wasn't there. JLA says, your channel is really cool. I like watching you. I'm 32. My wife is 28, and we are having our first child. 10:15. Well, congratulations. That's awesome. Welcome in. Hope both of you are subscribed. Hi there, Clown Prince of Funny. Welcome in. Where are you coming in from? I'm seeing so many new names today. Thank you, everybody who's new, who's coming in, and the regulars as well. Oh, Hurricane Katrina sent you back to Tucson. I've been through some of the biggest hurricanes when I was very little, but that would show my age if I mentioned which ones. Did they interview the Uber driver who dropped her off at dinner? Yes, and it was a female. And she not only had a street-facing camera, but she had a inside interior cabin-facing camera, and they have all of that, the audio and the video. Hey, sure, Hershon, I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Danielle says she's subscribed. Thank you. You're from the UK. Welcome in. You know, I'm a lot British and Irish and German, but I have a lot of UK blood, including from England, Scotland, and Wales, and my Irish blood. Hey, another local Tucson resident. You know, we were just talking about this, and I'm going to ask you, since you are a Tucson resident and you know more about this than me, do you, as a Tucson resident, do you consider it a high crime area, especially the Catalina foothills, or would you say exactly the opposite? Because I know that Nancy felt very, very safe living in that house alone at 84 years old. She felt very safe there, and the family felt that she was safe there. How would you describe Tucson, Cindy, and how would you describe specifically the Catalina foothills? Because everybody's saying, oh, it's so close to Mexico and there's the drug cartel. Well, drugs are everywhere. In California, we have the Mexico at San Diego. Oh, here comes another Chinook. You guys probably can't hear it. It's not as low as the other one, but there's been a lot of Chinooks coming over because of these fires. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That was my home away from home when I was a child. Well, between 13 and the beginning of 18 in Medford, New Jersey. Boy, I've flown into that airport many times. Good memories. Philadelphia Freedom. I can hear that Elton John song playing now in my head. St. Helens. Where is that? Where is St. Helens? Oh, it's in the UK. Sorry, but are you in England? Are you in Scotland? Are you in Wales? I don't know where that is, Danielle, and I have been to the UK. Oh, wavy. Welcome back and goodbye, gravy. Wavy gravy. Yeah, and for those that are watching my chat, don't even reply to the people that are the trolls. Hey, Kimberly. No, I did not. Did I hear what happened to the port boy with the crocodiles? Nope. You know what? That's very possible, human nature. Human nature reports or says, I also believe that Nancy's remains will be found within 20 miles of her home. I think that's very possible. And the reason I think it's possible, because I don't think they had time to drive her away. I think these were local yahoos, and she passed quickly, and then they were like, oh my God, now we're stuck with a body. What do we do? Okay. Paul, thank you for coming in. Paul, you're also from Tucson. Wow, I'm so happy to see all these people in here from Tucson. He says he's from Tucson and her area is totally safe. That's what I'm hearing. Do we know if any money has changed hands regarding the kidnapping? Not that we know of. Supposedly, they did put about $300 into that Bitcoin account just to see if somebody would bite, and nobody bit because they had no proof of life. Cindy says, not a high crime area. You know, that's what I'm hearing too. There's a lady that used to come in here, a simple kind of gal, and I haven't seen her lately. I hope she's doing okay because she lives blocks away from Nancy Guthrie's house. And she actually, her first husband used to work with Savannah as a broadcaster in Savannah's early days when she just started out, and she said it's very nice, and it's not as small as we think it is because with all the yahoos, the characters in this soap opera or this three-ring circus, it seems like everybody in Tucson knows everybody. And Tucson is only 20 minutes from Tucson, where LA is more like they used to have a saying here, LA is an hour from LA. LA can be 2 hours away from LA now. And nobody knows anybody, unless you meet in the middle of the night during an earthquake or you have a traffic accident with them. That's how you meet people in LA. But yet everybody in Tucson seems to be connected to the 6 degrees or through the 6 degrees of separation. And this lady who lives in Catalina foothills currently said, it's not like LA big, but it's not as small as everybody makes it out to be. And she said it's nice. And I believe her because she lives there. I've been through Tucson, but not in, I don't know, 30 or 40 years driving through it. Cindy says it's not a high crime area. Human Nature's from Atlanta. Welcome in, Atlanta. We get a lot of people from Georgia. Paul, not the city of Tucson is full of homeless. Now the city of Tucson is full of homeless and fentanyl addicts on the streets. We have that here in LA too, Paul. Fentanyl has killed a lot of people. You're from Liverpool, the home of the Beatles. That's awesome. Liverpool, England. Wow. That's fantastic. Jeremy says this was a planned takedown for specific reasons. I think so. Paul says Tucson's a big college sports town with great food. I bet they have great tacos there, Paul. We have great tacos too in LA. We have a very large Mexican population here. Greetings from Toronto, my Canadian friends. We also have Mostly Dolls helicopters in here from Canada, who actually sent a few super chats today. Thank you. I don't know if you're still in here, Mostly Dolls helicopters. But yeah, Toronto. My dad was a naturalized Canadian. That's a good question, Kelser. If you see some of the old videos on my channel, you'll see we talk about those guys because there were several. What do you think of the suspect they found a few miles from Nancy's house on camera with a backpack that was similar to the backpack they found on camera? I think there's a lot of people that walk around at night that are on the streets that are carrying backpacks. It may or may not be connected at all. Because we had the neighbor down the street who was out of town when this happened. Look, the glasses just made a ridge there. uh, and she saw like somebody on her front porch. Then we had the guy with the backpack in the parking lot. Then we had the guy with the face mask in the backpack that happened the same night, January 31st, who was like, I think I said 12 miles to the south. I think we got people with backpacks all over. We've had some of the local volunteers that have searched, not for the police, but they're just searching, that have found backpacks in the canals and articles of clothing. I think that kind of stuff is everywhere. If I went out and metal detected Santa Monica Beach today, I guarantee I'd find a backpack buried somewhere. But you have to take all of this into consideration, and you add that with 50,000 tips. There's a lot to go through, and the fact that the DNA was sent to the wrong lab to begin with, a lab that didn't have the ability to examine a rootless hair, we lost 12 weeks in this. Yes, it's horrid. I got my 80-year-old mom and me out of Tucson in 2024. We're in San Manuel. It's a sky island. What's a sky island? And where is San Manuel? We have an Indian reservation out here that used to be called San Manuel. Where is San Manuel? I think they panicked once she died and they felt they had to bury it before daylight morning. Quite possible. Now, I initially thought she was in water, but I don't feel that so much anymore. Jeremy says, hey, Canuck. Linda. Hello, Linda. Where are you coming in from? Compound Night. Here's another new person. My city of East Tucson has been safe to me for 42 years. Her neighborhood is one of the greatest for locations and is very nice. I think so. In fact, in some of my long form content videos, I put in some drone footage of the Catalina foothills at the very end as my outro, and it looks gorgeous. North Carolina Patriot. In the beginning, I wondered if the kidnappers utilized bicycles to avoid detection. I don't think she was carried away on a bicycle. How do I show you? Show me what? Um, Kimberly, small town. It's a vortex that most can't get out. I moved 3 times from there. There was no escape. Oh, that's near St. Helens. I wonder if someone like a plumber or maintenance man who's done work for Nancy did this, perhaps a landscaper. Those are people close to her. Her family, her friends, people that she meets with the church ladies. I doubt it's them, but neighbors, contractors in the area, landscapers, pullmen, handymen, caregivers, housekeepers, people that have lived in the casita or people that are connected to people that have formerly lived in the casita. Oh, okay. Liverpool is next door to St. Helens. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to look that up tonight. Cindy, I am personally ashamed of Sheriff Nanos because he dropped the ball right from the beginning. You know, Cindy, I feel the same way about my current mayor of Los Angeles. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I understand. I sympathize with you. I know how that feels. Human nature. How were the kidnappers so sure that Nancy was alone in that home with no men inside? Because somebody, as I've said from day one, had intimate knowledge of the inside and outside of the property and all the intel. Think about it. Her son could have been in town visiting for all they knew. You mean Nancy's son Cameron? He was in New Hampshire. Why were they so bold to risk that? Apparently, they knew they weren't going to get caught. That's not typical how kidnappings work. Kidnappers don't stay in the house for at least 41 minutes. Pinal County is 55 miles from Tucson, okay? There are lots of places to hide a dead body here. Oh, I believe that's why they should allow the Cajun Navy to come in, because not only would they maybe, possibly, find Nancy, but at the very least, they could find other missing people. San Manuel is an old copper mining town, dead now, but talks of reopening. Underground mine. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Human nature. I would imagine the FBI has watched footage from street cameras. Who was at the stoplights and intersections around that time were license plates visible? Absolutely. Also looking at LPR readers. My goal ends in 1 minute. Uh, Nanos has single-handedly ruined this investigation, quite possibly. We talked about that, the Indian reservations, Kimberly, and it's anything is possible, but I doubt it. Uh, I agree on the Cajun Navy. Absolutely, Lori. Welcome in, Lori Godfrey. The videos of the family members, it looked like Savannah and Cameron were sincere, but Annie was off to me. Yet the body language is horrible. And I am a professional, licensed private investigator for years. Most of my life, I've done this. And the body language is horrible. It's horrendous. But once again, I'm not naming suspects. But that body language, same with when they pulled the car out of the driveway the first time before it was taken for 41 days. It shows deceit, shame, and deception. Why? And you can't undo that. And people go, well, everybody grieves differently. That wasn't grief. I wish the Cajun Navy would be allowed to search, says Cindy. Me too. It's almost like they don't want this case to be solved in Tucson. They didn't secure the crime scene immediately. No, they didn't. And then they let it go before the FBI even got there. And half of America traipsed across that crime scene because this was an 84-year-old mother of a famous celebrity. And everybody zoomed into that neighborhood, even before the FBI got there. You can't undo what's already been messed up. Hey, Lisa. Good night, Jane. Oh my God, just been on someone else's live and I'm so ashamed. I won't even ask. Jeremy, when they stay in the house, seems they are searching for something and perhaps besting it out of her. Besting it out of her. Oh, I understand what you're okay. Like when the perps were in the house. Yeah, but nothing was taken and the house was described as immaculate, with the exception of the casita. There's a lot of stuff about this that still doesn't add up. And hopefully someday we're going to get the answers we need and this is all going to be explained. Sheriff said none of the cameras were working in the intersections. Sure. God, I hope that's not true. At this point, I could believe anything. I have a feeling that we're all going to be shocked at who orchestrated this in the end. You know, I've had that feeling from day one. And Savannah's going to get kicked in the gut a second time. And Savannah clearly believes that her family is not involved. She gets very angry if somebody even implies that. And I'm not implying that. So, I understand how you feel, Savannah, but I also know how the human psyche works. And, if it doesn't turn out the way that she thinks it's going to turn out, she could be living in a dream world and it's really going to be hard. I mean, her mother's gone no matter what, but things are going to get a lot harder if it turns in that direction. Texas Diane, oh, my back is killing me. I think Nanos has something that I feel like I have a knife at my left shoulder and my neck right now. I think Nanos has something to do with this case. He has screwed up from the start. Yes, he has. I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt at the beginning, but no, I can no longer do that. I think they stayed so long in the house because she died unexpectedly and it caused them to take a moment to figure out their next move. She did not die in the house because there was the aspirated blood with the oxygen on the front porch. So unless that blood was already there from days prior, she did not die in the house. And her heart was still beating when it unsynced from the devices. The hard drive was missing. We don't know what was missing. They said the family said nothing was missing, or the police has said nothing was missing. But they change the story all the time. Ed Galvin, welcome in. Any relation to Mickey Galvin? Human nature. When she said that she didn't think her family wasn't involved, I said, I hope she doesn't get hurt in the end. Like I said, I hope she's not living in a dream world. I'm not saying that she is, but I'm not saying that she isn't. Nanos was going to take a cut of the money. I think he's in desperate need of money. He's still working that job. But yet some of the family members aren't working any jobs. What's going on? How have they been supporting themselves this whole time where they're, either at, Dominic's house, they're in a hotel, or they're sitting on a beach in Italy right now? Who's paying for that? I heard that Nancy worked for a company that issued strong pain medications to hospice facilities in 7 different states, and Nancy kept track of outgoing meds and found discrepancies. I haven't heard that. Ed Galvin is not related to Mickey Galvin. Shy, you know anything in this platform? What is going? Which one is good and which one is bad? Goodbye, Shy. See ya. Was Tommaso a teacher? Yes, he was a 6th grade science teacher. And the school is called something Oro Valley. Human nature. Nano said the family was cleared. Nobody's cleared. living off of Savannah. I hope not. I've said it many times on here. Savannah, close your wallet and close your checkbook if that's the case. You just because you're more successful doesn't mean you have to pay for everybody else. I wouldn't. Big mistake if that's happening. I hope you're wrong, Ed. But somebody's got to be paying the bills at this point. Never lies. Keep it simple, people. Back to square one, as I've said many times. Let's go back to square one. Who has the most to gain? I'm convinced it's greed and or revenge, jealousy perhaps. Very good statement, Emerald Eyes. Maybe cartels have been involved. It's possible, Ed, but I doubt it. I've heard this before, Texas Diane, that Tomato and Nanos were fishing buddies. They spent a lot of outdoor time together. I've heard that they've been fishing on a boat together. And I used to know a guy from New York and LA that lived in Arizona for years, and he said that Arizona had the most registered the most registered boats next to Florida. I didn't know there were that many lakes in Arizona, but apparently there are. When a relative is rich, loved ones often expect them to cover the family. That's very true because I've worked for a lot of rich celebrities, and there's always one Yahoo in the family. There's even somebody like that in my family, but we're not rich. But expects that, they're going to be taken care of by everybody else. Wrong. How did they buy that house? How did they get the money for the deposit? How much did they put down? I've not done a title search. I don't want to know. Who puts mama in an Uber? Well, apparently they only had one beat up piece of shit car, excuse my language, that's like, very old. And supposedly Tommaso was out with the car and Andy put her in the Uber to bring her over. Which I don't have a big issue with, but, there could be a lot of reasons. Well, never knew that Tommaso and Nanos were buddies. All of this is alleged, Kelsers. We don't know for sure. This is shady. Absolutely. If it's true, and a lot of local people come in here and tell me that it is true. Lackawanna Kid? Oh my God. We have a celebrity in here. Lackawanna Kid, before I was monetized, I have a video on you, my friend. And it got like 9,000 views. And I never made any money off that, but I'm sure you did because it sent a lot of people your way. I wouldn't tell you not to, if it was in the generosity and sincerity of your heart, to send a super chat, because my video on you, for my channel being a small channel, got a lot of views. Thank you for coming in, Lackawanna Kid. Are you still in Michigan, my friend? This is so, I have a celebrity that's come in here. That's awesome. That's almost as exciting when my long lost cousin came in here and said, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you." And I'm like, I can't believe it's you. Other than if Savannah Guthrie came in here, you're the biggest person that's ever come to my channel, Lackawanna Kid. Sometimes to what? I missed that comment. Kelsers, thank you. Yeah, I still get emotional about your name, Kelsers. You're going to have to go to my Rest in Peace playlist, and you're going to have to see the video on the beautiful Kelsa Kinsley. And I always called her Kel. So that's why when I first saw your name, I got kind of choked up. Let me go heart that on the screen so I don't accidentally delete something, because we did have that technical error. Lackawanna Kid. I can't believe it. How are you doing? I haven't checked your Insta lately, my friend. And I know I don't know you personally, but I feel like I do. and people loved my video on you, but I wasn't monetized and I didn't make a dime off of that. And I've never been here for the money, but it's so nice to see you. I hope so. Oh my God. Everybody, now that I am monetized, later, if you're watching this on the replay or you're watching it now, after this video, I want you to go and see the video. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'm going to link it tonight in my community post tab. And I want everybody to go see the video that I made. And you know what? On one of the videos, I did a misspelling on your name. And I'm not an idiot. In fact, I'm really good in math and spelling, but I've had a shit ton of chemo Lackawanna Kid in the past. And then I've since had subsequent heart issues where I was having heart failure and serious, very deadly arrhythmias. I almost died multiple times. And so I think I might have had a little bit of oxygen deprivation to my brain at one time or another, or I'm just getting old, or I hit my head too many times as a child because I was very accident prone. And so there was a couple of misspellings, Lackawanna Kid, and it wasn't intentional, my friend. Uh, so I will put a link as soon as I'm done with this later today. I'm going to put a link up on my community post tab of the video that I have about Lackawanna Kid. And Lackawanna Kid, I know a lot of people in the industry because I've lived in Los Angeles most of my life, and I am a really legit, credible Hollywood PI. And I want to know all there is to know. You have a very interesting story, my friend. You know what? I don't even have StreamYard, Lackawanna Kid, to be able to do a live together. I haven't got to that point in the channel yet. But always hit me up by email, Lackawanna Kid, aprildavispi at gmail. And if you haven't seen the video, Lackawanna, please go see it. And please, can you share it since so many people watch you? You're way more popular than I am. Can you share it? Because I never got paid a dime for those views. And I have spent, in the 5.5 years that I've been on YouTube, it's cost me over $5,000. Now, in my past, when I was a full-time PI with a 6-figure business, $5,000 would be pocket change. Like I could just hand somebody a check for that. Hey, I need to borrow some money. Can you give me $5,000? Sure, here you go. But now it 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 might as well be $1,000,000 because I'm on a limited income due to a breast cancer disability and everything else that's happened since then. And I'm lucky to be here. And I'm always so thrilled when I get to meet new friends because I wasn't supposed to survive this and I wasn't supposed to survive this long. So the fact that I'm meeting you here today, sir, uh, is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. How did you find this video, Lackawanna Kid? And I'm sorry if I'm ignoring all the other uh, chats right now. I just thank you, Carson, for the chili. Uh, how did you find this video, Lackawanna Kid? I have probably 120 or 30 videos just on this topic alone. I've been covering the Nancy Guthrie case from day 2. Uh, Oh, thank you, Kelsers. Thank you for watching that video, and be sure to place a comment. Not many people care about that, and I always get so touched when I see somebody has watched it and commented on that video. How did you find me, Lackawanna Kid? Carson, thank you for the flower and for the star. Uh, you know, it's day to day, Lackawanna Kid. Everybody, life is a gift. Every day is a gift. It frustrates me when people tell me that's because it's just a tiny slice of the pie that I'm sharing. You know what? Don't worry about what the trolls say. You do it. You do you, Lackawanna Kid. You do you, and I'll do me. And I wish I was briefly monetized in 2024, but I didn't know what I was doing yet. And at the beginning of 2025, I got my monetization taken away. And I ended up taking down about a third of my channel, not realizing that if I did that, I was going to lose all my watch hours. So I never planned on being monetized again. And I've been following your story since day one on Instagram. And I'm like, and I live in Los Angeles and I have many celebrity friends and celebrity neighbors. And your story really was popular here. And I was like, I'm going to make a video on that. I might have even made a short, I think, too, but there was a misspelling somewhere and I couldn't change it because it was already up there. So I think I spelled like your middle name wrong or something. And I apologize for that. It was not intentional. Like I said, old age and health issues, and I'm not as sharp as I used to be, but I still have my spidey sense. I am so happy that you came in. How did you find this video? How did you find me? Oh, how let me know, Lackawanna, just so I know. How are people finding my videos? Were you looking specifically for Nancy Guthrie, or were you looking specifically for me? Or did I just happen to pop up on your feed and somehow, the cosmos put us together? Um, Mostly Dolls Helicopters. Thank you for the sparkles. If I didn't say that, Carson, thank you for the chili. Sorry about that and glad you survived. Me too. Like I said, I wouldn't be meeting you today, sir. So cover up by nanos as well. Very possible. Bunhead says, congratulations to you. That's awesome. It is awesome. Human nature. Forbes says 61% of Americans don't have $1,000 saved in the bank for emergencies. Luckily, I did. That's what got me through it. Carson C. Triple star or Cynthia star. Thank you. Carson Triple. Can I read? Uh, Renee Brown, people get mad at me when I go off topic, but how many things can we say about Nancy Guthrie over and over and over? So the videos, the longer they get, we do all talk about different things on here. She says, bless you. We are happy to have you sharing your expertise with us. Thank you. That means the world to me, Renee. Lackawanna says, I'm on my bicycle right now and it's starting to get dark and there's a good chance of rain. I better get off. When I see the video, I'll share it, but I'm not on YouTube too much. Good night. Well, just go to April Davis PI and I will link it. Please share it, Lackawanna, and keep in touch with me, my friend. Please keep in touch with me. And then, send me a message at aprildavispi@gmail. Let me know how you found the video, or I'll just contact you on Insta as well. How long does it take to get monetized? It can be short if you're successful, or it can be a very long time if you're not successful like myself. Who is Lackawanna Kid? A YouTuber. He's actually more on Instagram that I know of. Do you have a YouTube channel, Lackawanna Kid? I don't think that he does, but I'm going to, everybody, I'm going to shoot you that video tonight. Go to my main page. A lot of people don't know how to do that. Go to my community tab and I'll put both of my videos up about Lackawanna Kid. And you'll see that they are about a man named Clyde Allen Green. Jeremy Taylor. When your stream gets above a certain level, the algorithm sends it out to more people. I sure hope so, Jeremy. Who is the most famous person that you are friends with or have talked with? That's hard because I've been in LA for so long and I've worked in the entertainment industry and I've worked on so many TV shows and movies and worked for billionaires and and then a lot of my friends are in the entertainment business. My best friend is one of the most famous movie stars that ever came from Thailand. But she's definitely not the most famous person here in the US that I've ever known. That's a very difficult question. I've just been in the business for so long. God, everybody from movie stars to rock stars to producers to directors to writers to actors. That's just really hard to say. I have mobsters after me for decades, and one of them recently passed, the most threatening one, but I have audio recordings in safekeeping and they know all about it. There's only one left. Oh gosh, stay safe, Lackawanna Kid. When you put yourself out online, you have to think of your security. Don't hit a deer, Lackawanna Kid. I'm so happy you came in. Please send me an email at least and tell me how you found the channel. And I know you can't really type while you're, on your bicycle. I understand that, especially an electric bicycle and it's getting dark. Please let me know, Lackawanna Kid, my friend, how you found this. This has made my whole day, Lackawanna Kid, that you came into my video. Bunhead said, I found this video. I was going through shorts and it just came up. Oh, okay, that's because I'm doing vertical live and Shorts puts it out. I was watching video of the tornadoes in Kansas and I popped up. Oh, that's interesting, Kelsers. What's the most famous person you've talked to or have been friends with? Oh, that's a tough one. There's an old client of mine who I still have, even though I'm mostly retired, and we're also friends. And um, he's in the music industry, and he's super, super famous. But I can't say he's the most famous person. Gold member says she's dead, sadly. I agree with you, gold member, and I'm not trying to be negative because I don't like to be a negative Nelly. I like to be a positive Polly, but I'm also a detective. I'm a real legit detective, and I'm not a clickbaity channel. I'm just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. And I think that she is gone. Now, I would love it if I was wrong. I would love to come on the air and say, I was wrong, and she's alive, and she's been found. Um, I popped up on Renee's feed. I enjoy your personality and expertise, especially on the Guthrie case. You know what? I need to get hydrated. But thank you, gold member. Oh, I mean Renee. I'm sorry. See, my vision's going. So recap the Guthrie speculations, kind of. But we do, I do it from an actual investigative perspective. Wow, the Lackawanna Kid. Everybody, I'm telling you, as soon as I get off the air here and I get myself something to eat, I am going to put the videos up on my community post tonight. I'm going to share it on my Facebook. If you're a level 2 member, you can actually access my Facebook. Just contact me and say, "Hey, I'm level 2 or level 3," and I'll get you into my Facebook. Um, and I'll send him a message on Instagram, and I will put the videos, which I made nothing on and they were especially the long form content, for me to have like 10,000 viewers, and I was just a teeny, 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 teeny little channel at that time and non monetized. I can't friggin' believe that the dude just came in here. I still want to know how he found me. And he's mostly on Insta, I think. I don't think he has a YouTube channel, but I'll have you guys watch his videos or my videos on him, and you guys can put in the comments who you think he is, because that's what everybody's trying to find out. Who is his identity? Now, I do know his real identity and his real name, but he goes by on the social media Clyde Allen Great. I'm still tiny. Stop milking it. I'm not milking anything. You haven't been watching me. And I'm not trying to delete your message. I'm trying to time you out. I am still very tiny. But we are growing. Do you think the FBI is withholding info because Nanos is possibly a suspect? I don't think that's why they're withholding, but they're withholding because it's still an open, active criminal investigation that has yet to be solved. But is he a suspect? I don't know. I had a dream last night. I kept seeing the pool guy on your chat channel. Okay, I don't know who that is, Mimi. I do dream about this case, though. Sometimes I've actually seen Savannah in my dreams, and that's so weird and I'm like talking to her about this. So it's not like I see her in my dreams in a weird way or anything. I just sometimes I'll be with Savannah and we'll be talking about this case. And they're hard chats to have. And then I wake up and I realize like, oh, I'm not with Savannah right now. Although last week she was right down the street from me, and that was a strange feeling. After I've been, reporting on this for so long, the Savannah Guthrie was right down the street. Um, she really was. She was in production meetings at NBC Universal, which is a mile from my house. Uh, that's a possibility, Frank, that somebody unalived her and made it look like a kidnapping. But I think it was more for money and something went wrong, like very similar to the JonBenet Ramsey case. But she didn't die in the house. She died after they took her, and then they had to get rid of her, and they didn't have any proof of life. And then you have a mixture of all these ransom writers, and you have the first two, and then you have the text ones, and then you have the second Bitcoin guy one, not the one that was asking for 4 million and then 6 million, but the one that was asking for 50K, and then it was 1 Bitcoin, then it was a half a Bitcoin. Those are probably not all the same people, because we know who text ransom guy is. He already confessed to the police, but he still has to have his day in court, which is coming up July 2nd. I find it weird Nanis was at a basketball game in the middle of the investigation. Yeah, wasn't he? And I find it weird that a week ago, supposedly he lost $25,000 on a bet in a basketball game, but I can't prove that. I know everyone needs a break, but I find it strange. Absolutely, it's strange. This is all very strange. This is this case. I mean, to me, when I first heard that the 84-year-old mom of TV star Savannah Guthrie was missing, they didn't say kidnapped, abducted, unalived, murdered. They said she was missing. And as soon as I heard that, my mind went to exactly the same place that Cameron's mind went to. Like, oh my God, the 84-year-old mom of Today host Savannah Guthrie has been kidnapped. That's the first thing that came to my mind. And then I got all my ducks in a row, went on the air the next day, and I said it's one of two things: revenge or money. It's the Savannah factor, or it's somebody close to her, or it's a combination of the two. The world revolves around two things: S and money. This is not about S. There's been no evidence of a S assault in this case. And the police did look into that avenue at the beginning. But you know what? Since I started coming live, a lot of things have happened. My channel got remonetized. I've got more followers or subscribers. I've got more viewers. I've got more watch time. Some of these super chats are helping me buy groceries now. I'm basically going to put most of the money into my YouTube expenses to pay myself back. I'm not I'm not ever going to get rich off of this. That's not my intention. I'm not doing this for the money. Now, anybody that's contributed, whether it's on a live or on a playback, or they've gone to one of my links, or they bought something off my Amazon wish list, or they have become a member, that is helping keep this going. But this is not about the money. And I would be happy to help Savannah. I would be happy to consult with her, and I wouldn't charge her a dime. And that actually could have happened, since she was last week, a few days ago, down the street from my house. But she probably has no clue who I am. If Nanos was betting 25G, he has a gambling problem and could be compromised. That's what I'm hearing. But we don't know if it's true. We don't know that Tommaso's alleged gambling problem is true. Everybody here is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, I do think it's unusual that somebody of his age is still in law enforcement and they haven't taken their retirement, because I can tell you from my own health, life is short, people. Don't put off tomorrow. Do it today. This is Tucson. This is Nancy Guthrie's house in the background. Greg Frost says, me, me, me. What does that mean, Greg? Welcome in. Still why does this constantly tell me to do this? It's flashing at me. And I'm not going to be on here very much longer. I've already been on here for more than 2 hours. And then it flashes at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see that, but my gold keeps flashing at me, and it's distracting because I can only see this much. Now on the computer, I can see more, but then I miss like the jewels when they pop up. Boy, I am dying to know, how did Lackawanna Kid come into my video? And the avatars are about the size of a pinhead. But I was like, oh my God, that's the Lackawanna Kid. Um, because you have a PI attitude, your show is interesting and could make you a popular streamer. Maybe. But, my full-time job is to stay alive and to take care of my animals and to keep a roof over my head. But everybody that's contributed, even if you're just watching or you're watching the replays or you're sending me the thumbs up, that all helps. But for the people that have sent the super thanks or the super chats or they've joined the membership, which by the way is only $4.99 a month, and I do throw out 10 a month. That's the maximum that YouTube allows me to throw out as gifted. Um, thank you. And do I get paid for the gifted ones? Not unless you guys renew it. Yeah, Kelser, make sure you go check out that video on the beautiful Kelsa Kinsley, and thank you. Thank you for subscribing, my dear. Years ago when my business was going really well, before I was diagnosed with cancer, it crossed my mind that maybe I should cash out at that point because the business was really big at one time, and it would be a good time to sell it and put some money away and sell my house and, just go live in a tiny apartment like I'm in now and, just enjoy my life. And my then boyfriend not only talked me out of it, but a former client who was an insurance adjuster who since became a PI, she talked me out of it and said, April, being April Davis PI is not what you do, it's who you are. And I've never thought of it like that because when I'm off duty, I'm off duty. You know? But she was like, no, it's not what you do, it's who you are. Like, don't sell it. And the boyfriend said, don't sell it. And now that I'm disabled, other than my own name, April Davis PI, it's not worth anything. So maybe I shouldn't have listened to them. But yet I can't imagine, not doing it. That's why this YouTube channel has been a wonderful distraction for me because I can't just sit here all day long, 24 hours a day, and stress out over my current situation. That's not healthy. So you being able to come in and, see you guys every day or however often I can continue to come on here, thank you. But at some point, I got to pick up the views, I got to pick up the subs, and I've definitely financially, I've got to ramp this up or it's not gonna be able to keep doing it. And it's not about the money. It's just about I got to be able to cover all the channel costs, not only the current costs but the past costs. You're not successful when it's taken 5.5 years to get to. Let's see what the current count is right now. Let me just refresh my screen. 3474. I'm happy, but let's keep it going. If I could get just 26 more today out of all the people that have come in here today, I'd be at 3,500. And then if I was at 3,500, I'd be halfway to 4K. And then if I could get to 4K, we could predict how long it's going to take to get to 5K. Thank you for the gold coin. Mostly Dolls Helicopters. Didn't realize you were still in here. Yeah, you've contributed a lot today. Thank you so much. And let me tell you, those penny jewels, they add up. And I've been sent a lot of those today, but you want to see at the top of the screen, it says 295 rubies. That means $2.95. So I've been on here for 144 minutes and I have $2.95 worth of rubies, but I do have 1018 in super chats. And why it has that kind of an odd number on it is because some of them have been Canadian. And now that's before YouTube obviously takes out their cut. So, like I said, I'm definitely not doing this for the money. People have come in and accused me of that, or people say, "May I send you $200? May I gift you with, go ahead." My mailing address is at the bottom of every video, and it's in my channel description. I got my PayPal, I got my Cash App, I got my cancer GoFundMe. I got my Venmo. The only thing I don't have in here is my Zelle. Or I get people that come in and say that they need a donation. Now, I do donate to some of the smaller channels on here. Some of my friends, I will donate like super chats or super thanks or join their memberships. I do as most as I could for other people. April PI could be a great show. Just keep charging on. I'm going to keep, or just keep on keeping on. Yeah. One foot in front of the other. Some days it's harder than others. I wish I could be on here for hours, but I'm just physically not well enough. About halfway through this, I've just been in the worst back and neck pain. And now my screen on my desktop is frozen. Let me try to catch that up. Oh, God. Don't be negative on here. Uh, well, thank you for everybody that came in today. I can't wait till when I close this out, I'll actually be able to see how many people came in total. Not just, at one time today, I was up to 302, and I've never had 302 people in at the same time. But there probably will be several thousand on this one. And make sure if you're still here that tonight you go, or later today, you go to my community post tab. They used to call it community, but now they call it post. But us YouTubers still call it community. So I just call it the community post tab. Make sure you click that, and I will put up the videos of our friend Lackawanna Kid. Because that name, that's his like Instagram name. That's not on the videos. It's the Clyde Allen Green, which by the way is not his true name. And I do know that as well. I know his real identity now, and I have for a long time now. But you'll have to watch the videos that I put up on Clyde Allen Green. Please share them with everybody because that was one of my most popular videos. I had another one that hit like 120K, but I took it down. So my most popular video was taken down, but that's pretty high up on my list. And I have a couple of ones with Alfie, my old cat, that weren't even YouTube videos. They were just like clips in my phone, and I put those up just to get the channel started, and they had like 60,000 views or something, but it didn't mean anything then. Um, oh, thank you, Lizzie. Think how popular Agatha Christie was. She never thought anyone would bother with her first book. That's true. Yeah, but make sure you guys come back, watch the replays, subscribe if you're not subscribed, hit the thumbs up on all the videos. Feel free to come into the comment section as well after the videos. No donations are necessary, but if you want to become a member or you do want to donate, there's many ways to do so. If you are a member, please make sure you see the new um, customized emoji that I was able to put up last night because I got 3 more members yesterday. Thank you so much. Appreciate every single one of you. I can't wait to find out where Lackawanna Kid, how he found me. That's amazing. Um, that's the most famous person we've had come into the chat. But thank you, everybody. I love you all. And remember, we still have to come up with the nickname for my followers and my subs. Are we the PI posse? Or are you the PI posse? Or I kind of like the #1 hit here, the Hollywood Sleuths. Are we Hollywood Sleuths? I don't like April's Investigators, the PI Bureau. No, I don't like any of that. The Case Squad, the Justice Seekers, the Sleuth Crew. I kind of like the Hollywood Sleuths. I haven't decided yet. Give me some feedback on that, everybody. Okay. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm closing out the goal because I can't physically be on here another 20 minutes, but I've just subscribed. I was watching Nancy Guthrie videos and you popped up. Thank you. Thank you, Lizzie. Make sure you share my channel. Oh, just getting ready to close out, and I gotta I got 100 jewels. Thank you. Just making some notes here. Make sure you guys see the thumbnail on this video later too, if you didn't see that, just to make sure that nobody here recognizes that picture in case that picture is legit. I didn't make that picture up. I got it from someone else who's been looking and reporting on this case. So make sure you see that that's supposedly the driver of the white Kia Soul, although that's hard for me to believe. Check out that thumbnail, okay? Thank you, everybody. Love you all. See you soon.